What's up? We're back with another episode of the Dynasty Pylon. Today we are doing gambling, risky type players that are potentially coming back from an injury, but are still key impact players that can or may not be underperforming through this upcoming season. Now, a lot of them came from injury, and we're questioning them. For instance, Dak and Joe Burrow. And then, since we're also doing IDP, this is an IDP channel, we are also going to cover Von Miller and Nick Bosa. So, minus one or two more players. Mark, who are we covering today? So, the 6 players, right? We have a little bit of offense and a little bit of defense. So,
I got 5. Who's the 6th?
We got Dak.
Okay.
We have Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Saquon.
Okay.
Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
Von Miller. And
All
Nick
right.
Bosa. I still count 6.
Oh, interesting. Oh, he's up there. That's why I got confused. You're right. It is 6. My bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, right now, it's draft season. As I mentioned yesterday, we hit on a little bit of the RBs that were coming in for Dynasty. Definitely those 3 RBs that from yesterday's video are going to be like basically their future RB1s. Now, today we're going to hit on potentially this is a little bit of redraft-ish type guys that are going to be impact on 2021 season. So let's handle with the offense first, and then we'll just end it with a little bit of defensive guys that are main impact players. So the first guy I really want to talk about is Dak Prescott. I think he's Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow. I'm going to nail these guys at the same time because they're both the same position, but I'm a little bit more worried about one more than the other.
Me too.
Yes. I would say I'm a little bit more worried about Joe Burrow than I am Dak Prescott, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's what I was leading at.
Yeah. Well, last year, if Joe Burrow went down, what week was it? Like week
10 against
10,
the Washington
right?
football team.
Yes. Oh, okay. Perfect. So, so anything that has a CL in the league basically broke or snapped or ripped in his leg. So MCL, ACL, and whatnot. Basically, his leg was basically ripped, and it was just done. It sucks because he was a rookie, and all eyes were on him. He was the first overall draft pick, but I worry about him a little bit more than I do Dak Prescott. Do I think Dak Prescott's going to be as good as he was last season? I don't know, but am I worried about him coming back? Or is he still going to perform the same? I still think he is. He doesn't seem worried, so I don't think I'm too worried about it either. Most guys, they come in, they're a little bit like more worried about, they're on the fence about things. But he seems like he's ready to go. What was his stat rankings and all that last year? I think you looked that up on Dak, right?
As he got hurt, he was leading the league in passing yards, and he was right up there at the top in touchdowns. He had
he was like basically number 1.
Yeah, he in not even 4 or 5 complete games, he had almost 2,000 passing yards.
Jesus,
it was ridiculous.
Wow. So he was ready to like shatter records probably. Had he not got injured, he was probably
He was averaging 371.1 yards a game.
That's insane. That's insane.
And he had 9 touchdowns.
And I think he went down in the third quarter of week 5 against the Giants.
I believe it was the third quarter, yes.
So I remember that he was basically the QB that I had starting that week. So I remember that. I think you did too, right? I think in another league that you had that as well, right? So
yeah, but you were also playing me that week, you know.
Yeah.
Twice.
In that other league in RDE, right? So
yeah.
Mark got a gaming chair. Yeah, definitely an upgrade.
Yes,
he doesn't look like he's on the lower half of his screen and just showing his head. Yeah, definitely an upgrade on that. So, but yeah, dude, he was basically so Dak is coming back with vengeance. Oh, absolutely. I think the Cowboys' offense is going to definitely be key on their win success. Their defense, I'm a little worried about. It's really young. It's a new coach that's coming from a different organization that I don't like the guy, Dan Quinn. I just don't like him. I'm sorry.
He won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't care. He didn't do anything for the last couple seasons. So your first season after that, okay, I understand. But then the following season, if you still don't do anything, and then after that, it's like, dude, where you at? Well, what happened? So anyways, I think Dak is fine. I still think that I would like I said, I'm not as worried about as I am as Joe Burrow, because I still would imagine that Dak is probably going around 5th or 6th round in a couple of these drafts, which is typically around the time where guys get those high-end QBs, your main starter.
Is that about where you got him last year? Or did you get him 6th or 7th?
Actually, no, I think I did get him in the 5th.
Yeah.
I think it was a little high on him, but I think right now, the couple of the mock drafts that I've done, he's still going about 6th round, 5th round. But I'm not worried about him. And it doesn't seem like you are either.
No. Well, I'm worried about his offensive line, but I'm not worried about him.
Right. Well,
we'll have to see if he's running for his life, how he reacts, I guess.
Right. His line was just injured, I think, from last season. I think.
But they lost. They were,
but
his All-Pro center retired out of nowhere. He's gone.
True.
But I guess they still have Martin and then Smith on the left, so maybe not too bad, I guess.
Right.
As bad as some other divisions or some other teams in that division.
Yeah.
Who was also on our list.
Yes. We'll get into that after we hit on Joe Burrow, who I don't know. He himself has said he's ready. But again, the way his injury was, I just it was just, like I said, everything that had a CL in it was basically ripped. So the recovery time on that, I don't think that from the time of week 10 till now is still enough time. And I training camp is opening. And I think this is the time when we're going to start hearing more news on these guys. If he's out there.
He said he's ready to go week 1.
I don't know, man.
That's what he says.
Yes. But again, he also is younger, so he probably heals a lot faster than these older guys. But I still think that he'll be ready by week 3. I think they should probably maybe sit him out the first couple of weeks and then throw whoever the hell they have back there. I mean, I don't think they're going to do as great as they did last year anyways, or even if they did do that great last year. Take or pick however you feel if they did good or not. I don't think they did that great, but
I don't think they did either.
So, as from what I know of, he has the weapons. Definitely with the addition of Jamar Chase, I honestly think that he's going to be a number 1 receiver right off the bat. He might be next year's Justin Jefferson. Now, if those who don't know who Justin Jefferson came from, he came from LSU, who was also on the opposite side of Jamar Chase. When those two played together, Jamar Chase was the key receiver. So Jamar Chase is, in my opinion, better. But again, his landing spot with the Vikings was a lot better than maybe the Bengals. So I just don't see Joe Burrow maybe coming back right off the bat, slinging it. I think there might be a little bit of problem. It's like, let's take a previous quarterback that came from a season injury, which was Tua Tagovailoa, who had that hip injury and then came back, and then he didn't play till week 8, but it was still bothering him. Yeah. So let's take Joe Burrow. It's the same concept. Yeah. So
they have a double whammy because their starting running backs coming back from injury too.
Yeah. Well, even
so, who's going to take the reins to start the season? Are they going to run with Mixon, or are they going to try to pass with Burrow?
I don't know. I think P. Ryan's going to probably do a lot more work. So Tank says Joey B will be wait till second preseason game and see before I'd even think about drafting. Yes, definitely maybe. Hopefully your draft is after the second preseason. But for dynasty players, they have him, and he's on their lineup. So that's the issue. Hopefully they have someone there as a backup. I know someone in our league has Derek Carr and has Joe Burrow, and they're thinking about potentially just running with Joe Burrow. Like it's on them, but I'm like, hey, look, I don't know if he's going to be starting or not. Hopefully they pick someone else up in the draft. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I personally is too much of a risk. Redraft for me, I think I'll probably take him closer to the ending rounds. I don't think I'll take him like towards the middle of the end.
I agree. He's QB2 at most for me.
For sure. And then potentially QB1 later by like week 6 or 8. But
depending on how he does, or if he even plays, like you said.
Right. So, I don't know. Again, it depends on that line too. They are back. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can finish.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say his stats weren't bad.
By week 10?
Yeah, he had 10. Well, he got hurt in his 10th game, but he had he only averaged about 268 a game. He had
it's not too bad for a rookie.
2,688. He only had 13 touchdowns, but I think the thing I really like about him, he only had 5 interceptions.
I mean,
to put that in perspective,
13 TDs and 5 interceptions. Yeah. That's pretty good.
So 5 games, only 5 INTs. Put that in perspective, Dak Prescott, who got hurt during week 5, had 4.
Right.
So he played twice as many games, only had 1 more interception. So I like that aspect, not turning the ball over.
I mean, I really think, like, if you have him in your dynasty leagues, he's still first round contending for me. I would not trade him at all unless you give me 3 firsts. I think he's still the it guy with Jamar Chase there. Like I still think he's going to be amazing. So that's just what I think. He's obviously they got him first round overall. He's the number 1 overall last year's draft. So, obviously he still has that potential there, and I still think that he's able to be what he was drafted for. So
yeah, I just think it's gonna take a year or 2 for them to revamp that offensive line before you really start to see them take off.
Yeah,
both of them.
They had the chance to, but I think because they made a little bit of minor adjustments, not huge ones, but minor, I think they're not as worried. But hey, we're not that organization. We're just 2 people who are just observe. So speaking of line, both these QBs had iffy lines, but I know one for sure had a horrible line, which brings us to our next guy.
It's going to be just as bad this year.
Oh my God.
Because they didn't do a dang thing to it.
Exactly. And that individual is Saquon Barkley. Oh my God. Look, I love him. He's the coolest guy ever. He just seems like an overall cool guy. We love him. We want him to succeed, but it's like he can't succeed without a line. And you've heard it overall time and time again. You're only as good as your line, and all of them got injured. A good majority of, I think, I had 2 or 3 of them. So I'd say more than 50% of that starting offensive line got hurt. And then next thing you know, Saquon went down in week 4?
2.
Week 2? Oh, Jesus. All right. So
week 2
what did he do during that time?
Well, he played in 2 games, was hurt. Did he get hurt in the 3rd quarter too, or was it? I think it might have been.
I can't remember.
Quarter.
I actually wasn't watching that game, so I did not pay attention.
But to have a full game under his belt and to only have 17 rushes for 34 yards and no touchdowns is not good.
Oh God, that's bad. So
yeah,
and
that's not a red flag.
Do you think it has anything to do with that line? Like, was the skill not there, or was it just like too new? I mean,
maybe they saw something we didn't because they kept him, but
right. And then Wayne Gallman just kind of took over, and then they brought in Freeman, and I don't think they did much either. Like Wayne Gallman didn't do anything that impressed me as much.
Gallman had like some spark here and there, but nothing consistent.
Nothing impressive, right?
And then Freeman was supposed to turn him around, and he looked terrible.
Well, he was cut for a reason, so
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's.
So
Did they even sign him another year? Freeman?
I don't know. He might still be a free agent.
I think he is, but yeah, he's garbage. Now, I think Atlanta just used them, and we did nothing after that.
My brother-in-law just sent me a text message with a picture of Barkley, and he said, "No one can tackle this man. He don't need no offensive line."
Okay, stats say otherwise, but hey, you know. But like I said, like we all like him. You know, he's a cool guy. Even off the field, he's such a cool guy, lovable guy, and we just want him to succeed. I mean, the guy makes yogurt commercials look cool. Like, how many players can do that? You know, so I wish the best success. For me, he's out of my top 10. We said this before. I think he's out of your top 10 overall from your draft, right? And redraft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would take other guys over him. I just can't trust that line. Like I would take it. Let's go down to second round. I would take Gibson over him.
I would take Gibson over him.
That's how much. Yeah, but Gibson isn't like that top tier running back yet, from what people.
Well, I think he will be this year.
In our eyes, yes.
And this year, though, I think it's the year. He's already setting goals for the year.
Well, good.
We'll see if he reaches them. But
I hope so. I think he's going to be fantastic for fantasy.
He said 1,500, 15 touchdowns. Those are his goals.
Those are his goals.
Yeah.
Well, I'm liking it.
Me too.
Liking it. So anyways, let's go to another guy. Let's just go to the Denver Broncos, both offense and defensive side. We have Cortland Sutton and Von Miller. Now we're bringing Von Miller into this because why? We're into IDP. So let's go over to let's bring out a little bit of the Denver in here. So how do we feel about Teddy Bridgewater throwing to Cortland Sutton? I know a lot of people aren't liking that. Am I still going to get Jerry Jeudy? Yes. Am I still going to get Noah Fant? Yes. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't expect to draft him. Definitely not as my number 1, but probably as a steal for my number 2. So he could potentially be a sleeper. And we also, if you didn't see our Sunday show with the morning spike, we were talking about sleepers and all that good stuff, sleepers and stealers and streamers. I actually I think we brought him up on that show with Teddy Bridgewater with the Denver Broncos, but I don't know if I can't remember right now, but I don't know. How do you feel? Like Cortland Sutton didn't even play, did he?
He played in one game. He had 6 receptions or 6 targets, 3 receptions for 66 yards. No touchdowns.
Okay.
So that was it.
And that was it. Okay.
Yep.
So nothing impressive. He was supposed to be the number 1 guy over Jerry Jeudy with him coming back.
I think it's safe to say that is flip-flopped.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say that's safe to say because we're just used to Jerry Jeudy being there all last season.
But I think that could be a good thing for Sutton, though. With Noah Fant and Jeudy getting all the attention leaves him more open or more single coverages.
Right. So I mean, here's what I think of Cortland Sutton. He could be a definitely low ball sleeper. I think people forgot about him. I think you could get him in the later rounds, and he could easily become a number 1. And if he stays healthy with Teddy Bridgewater, I know I don't know what side of the ball he lines up on, but it seems to me that Teddy Bridgewater loves throwing to his right side. Why? Because I suffered the wrath of DJ Moore only getting nothing but yards but no touchdowns. And DJ Moore was on the left side. So if we bring – sorry, that is a phone call I got right now. But I think that if we draft Cortland Sutton in the later rounds, potentially maybe last pick, I think he could be a definitely big steal for sure. So, what's this, James? It's James. I personally see Locking starting the season. I think Denver still have faith in the kid. Teddy will play weeks 4 through 5, right? I'm assuming. Yeah. I just don't know about Locke. He thinks Locke is good. I think he actually mentioned this last time, a couple episodes ago. We were talking about Broncos, but I don't believe in him. James does, but then that is also James for you. James always brings up crazy things. I think the last time we had a show, he brought up something crazy. I think it was about Saquon or something like that too. But thanks for the comment, man. Makes me wonder where your logic is, because our draft is coming up in a couple of days. I really want to know what his thought process just blows my mind sometimes, and it works out for him. I don't know how, but it does. So
I mean, I'll tell you where my confidence lies with Drew Lock. I had him, and I don't anymore.
I didn't say that. I'm saying Denver has faith. Oh, okay. Okay. I swear I thought you said something about Drew Lock. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was someone else. But I don't think so, man. I would prefer Teddy Bridgewater over him. Now, with Courtland Sutton there, okay, say if you had Locke or Teddy Bridgewater, that still is a boost on them both.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have who was the other guys that they had, some scrub that they didn't even have really use. So hashtag me too. So yeah, I hope that Courtland Sutton does do a lot better. And again, in redraft leagues, I think you could definitely steal him in the later rounds. Hello to whoever entered there at your room. Someone come in and leave?
That was the garage door.
Oh, God, that's loud. It looked like someone entered your room and left.
I thought. I looked.
Because you turned in everything.
Yeah. Well, I heard it, but then my door, it was the garage
door. So he didn't even play anything, right?
Who, Von Miller? No.
Well, Sutton. But
well, no.
Of course, Von Miller. But we're going to Von Miller.
No, we talked about him. He only played one game. Had 6 targets, 3 receptions, 6 yards.
Right.
And the year before, he played in 16 games, had 84 targets, 42 receptions for 704 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh, no, that was 2018.
Okay. Still not bad.
Decent. They actually did really good in 2019.
I mean, that was also 2 years ago, but I mean, that was because last year he didn't play. But the season before that, wasn't that his rookie year before? Wasn't it 17 or 18?
18 was his rookie.
Okay. So, but again,
in 2019, he had 1,112 yards on 72 receptions and 6 touchdowns. Pretty good. For having Drew Lock throwing to him.
Right. So let's go to the defensive side. And since we're covering IDP, we are an IDP show. We do a little bit of an offense and also the defense. Von Miller, who last year was going overall when the first couple of linebackers off the board, now could potentially be one of the least linebackers going off the board because everyone forgot about him. And if you were smart, you threw him on your IR. Maybe you still have him in your lineup. But in some leagues, he is a free agent, and you could pick him up probably. He's coming back. It does suck. I think I remember hearing that they've had one more play to go on practice. And in this one last play he got hurt, which basically ended his season. Now, Von Miller being Von Miller, we like him, we love him. He makes great Old Spice commercials as well when he's not playing. But I think did you see what injury he had or what?
I was trying to find out. I thought was it a pec? I thought it was a pec.
Something like that. I think it was his bicep or something. I know it was an upper body. I'm not saying, but I know that with him coming back, helping out Chubb and the linebacker, not the running back. But I think that with him coming back,
really wrong. It was an ankle injury.
Who had the pectoral? We'll look into that. It was a linebacker, a key linebacker that we knew that had it though. But I know with Chubb there, and then Von Miller there, and who else is their other linebacker they just got? I can't think of his name. I just mentioned it before the show. But anyways, besides that fact.
Did you say Chubb?
I said Chubb. Yeah, I mentioned Chubb. Joel, Joel, Jowel. Those three are key. And then the defense is really, they grabbed Patrick Surtain as their first round pick. And then they brought in a couple of other DBs off signing. So, I mean, that defense is going to be really nasty. I mean, Shelby Harris is still there. Then they have Justin Simmons, of course, that we're all used to.
Will.
Shut up, Will. Get out of here. So I just don't think that even with Von Miller not being like 100%, I know he'll be back for sure. But that defense already is going to be one of the tougher defense to beat. Mm-hmm. And I hope the best for them. I think they give Patrick Mahomes a run for his money. I really hope so. That's going to be their key personnel team to keep them in the playoff contingency. But again, with Von Miller out, let's see. What was it say? I know Von won't be charged with an off-field issue, but do you think the NFL may punish him for his accusation of what? Crap, did I miss that?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Oh, thank you, James, for definitely. I don't remember anything. Are you sure it was him? From the OT, because he was just there from the OTAs. There's just this. Are you talking about Gordon? Get back to me on that. I don't remember if he was what accusations. Yep, as in, are you talking about Gordon? Yep, Gordon, because Gordon was the one who got in trouble. Nope. All right. Well, help me up on that. Send me a text or something. But I don't think I remember him getting in trouble for anything. He was just injured. But anyways, let me know something I don't know. But
says Broncos Von Miller will not face charges after Parker police investigation.
Yeah, but for what though?
It just says criminal allegations.
I mean, the only allegations that I know of recently, recent news was, man, I can't even remember recent news. It definitely wasn't him though. But anyways, besides the point,
they never said why. They just opened an investigation in January, didn't state why, and then just last week were like, yeah, we're dropping our case. But they never said why they were investigating Miller.
I don't.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear about that either. So,
and Von Miller hasn't said anything either.
No. Well, thanks, man. For keeping me on my feet. Now I got to do a little bit more research. Thanks, James. But no, I didn't hear about any of that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I know there was a recent some allegations with somebody in the league, but it wasn't.
Oh, Richard Sherman.
Yeah. Okay. Now you just triggered that. Yeah, Richard Sherman probably won't play the season at all. I think his career's done. After what was it? Robbery, theft, or whatever it was.
Domestic
was it assault or something like that?
And robbery.
Yeah, I think his career is done. So,
and possibly DUI now.
Yeah. So thank you, Richard Sherman, for being part of our however many years you played. But I think you won't play with the team. I don't think anybody will sign you, maybe except for the Raiders, because that's something they usually do. But
they like their problem children.
Yeah. And then our last guy, Nick Bosa. Didn't play anything at all last season. Did he play one game? He didn't play anything.
Yeah, he played. He was like Barkley.
Played one game and that was it.
He played one full game, and then he got hurt in game 2. I think like in the same quarter. That was a horrible week too for some people if they had both of those players.
Yeah, no kidding. If you did both IDP and offense with Saquon and Nick, so that really sucks.
But he also, like Barkley, really didn't do anything in the first game either.
Well, on the defensive side of the ball, like what did he do?
No sacks, no tackles for losses. He had 1 QB hit and 3 assisted, 3 solos for 6 total tackles. I mean, I guess he had total tackles. That's about it.
Got hurt against some Giants.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I think he's a key component. I mean, he should be on everyone's rosters right now. Is he a risk? Maybe. Are all these guys risk? Yeah, probably. But I don't think the least ones I'm worried about is Dak. I'm least worried about Courtland Sutton. The only I guess Courtland Sutton and Dak are probably the least ones I'm more worried about. Maybe Von Miller as well, just because they're on good established teams. Their injuries weren't as bad as Saquon's and Burrow's. And then Nick Bosa went down with what kind of what was the injury? The leg injury or something?
He tore his ACL.
Yeah. Okay. So those guys are for sure.
It was just the one ligament, unlike Burrow, where it was
Burrow's, MCL, ACL, and whatever. So, but I mean, all these guys are good potentially to come back, and potentially, like we said, are underperform, but still definitely key players the impact players that you want. Just be careful in your drafts, guys, that are coming up. For those redrafters, is Dak going pretty high? Yeah, I think he's going like 5th or 6th round. I mentioned that. Joe Burrow, you could probably sneak into the 8th or 9th. Courtland Sutton, I think you could probably get him as a big time steal in the later rounds. And so for Nick Bosa and Von Miller, if you do IDP, probably also in your later rounds as well. Probably around 13 or so. Maybe something like that, maybe 14, depending on how deep you guys go league. I know we have a draft coming up, a mock draft next week. That one is just going to have 4 bench slots. So you do your 12 starters and then your 4 bench. We're not going to go too deep in it. Typically, we go a little bit more. But just because it's a mock draft and we also want to end at a good time, we're only do 4 bench slots. However, it filled up so quickly. I think, Mark, you missed out on getting on that.
I'm not even in our. I can't even get into mock drafts anymore. I don't know what's happening.
You're not in our own show's mock draft.
I get into mock drafts, but I can't do them because I'm working. I can't get into the ones where I'm not.
It's all good, man. But you'll still be here for the show, right?
Yeah, I'll be here for the show. For
sure. I think you could just. It's fine. I think you could commentate on what we're doing and where guys are going, and see how well their draft capital is going. So, other than that, I have nothing else. Do you?
No, except for Tank. This isn't the first show I've had this chair, but thanks for noticing it now.
Let's see.
I just thought that was funny.
So Braden and MCL isn't a serious injury. Brady played all year on a torn one. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. But would you have?
Is he talking about Nick Bosa, or is he talking about who's he talking about?
Well, we mentioned MCL on Nick Bosa, or even. But all right. But here's the difference between a QB and a defensive end. I'm pretty sure that Nick Bosa's MCL is a little bit more important than Brady's. I mean, Brady can, depending on what leg he plants on as well. Where Nick Bosa would have to run around, some 300-pound dude and push and shove and,
Oh, and he's going to be running around.
Yeah, compared to Brady. But that is a good point, Braden. I do like that. Burrow tore his ACL, MCL. Yes, we did mention that. Anything that had a CL, it was just broke. Yeah, for that guy. But
well, he tore 2 and then damaged the 3rd one.
Yeah, but of all these guys, I think Burrow is more of the riskiest guys, more than Saquon, unless you think Saquon is more risky than him.
No, I'm going to say Saquon's the riskiest.
You think so?
Well, I say it because a lot of people are going to be drafting him in the 1st round, and I am not going to take that kind of a risk. We just saw mock drafts where he was going 2 still.
Yes.
But I am not using a number 2 overall pick on Saquon Barkley.
No, and I like the guy, but again, but for me, I still think Joey is going to be more of a risk than Saquon, because that's your QB. Now, if you're in a super flex league, maybe it won't be as bad because he probably won't be your number 1 guy. But if you're in a 1 QB league and Joe Burrow's your starting QB and he goes down, that's where I see. Where if Saquon goes down, I still have another running back who could potentially get in the goal line or find himself near the goal line at least 3 times, maybe get 2 touchdowns. I don't know, depending on who your other running back is.
I might put it like you're saying, though, but like should be, if you're a smart drafter, Joey Burrow shouldn't be your number 1 quarterback.
No, but I mean, okay, but I will start Joe Burrow against Houston. That's
what I'm saying. I think it's riskier to take Barkley with the number 2 pick than it is to take Burrow in the later ends of a draft.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because the upside for Burrow is like,
starting,
he could be a number 1 QB.
Right. Whereas, but I mean, like as a weekly starter, though.
Yeah.
Like if you started him the 1 week that your main QB is on a bye, where you have Joe Burrow as your backup, and it's still early in the season, we don't know if he's fully healed or not. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. But I do agree with you. I wouldn't draft Saquon with my first at all.
Yeah, I don't care where I'm at in the first round. I'm not drafting Barkley.
I mean, unless I'm maybe at pick 12, because I know I have that snake.
Don't do it. That's where I got him last year. You saw how good it did me.
Nope.
But I'm just ask Braden. He was in the same draft as me. I got him with the 12th pick, and then I got Michael Thomas with the 13th pick.
Right.
So, such great first picks.
That's just bad luck right there, man. That is really bad luck. So, but anyways, those just keep an eye out for those guys, and then look at your draft capital and where you land. For me personally, if I'm going to run down real quick, Dak, I would still draft him as where he's landing in 5th or 6th round. I think think some people consider him a risk. I personally don't. Joe Burrow, I do consider him a risk. He's going to be in my later rounds. Saquon, I'm not going to use my first on him. And Cortland Sutton, he could potentially be a steal. So that's who I think. I think Cortland.
What was his injury?
I think it was also then he tore his muscle or like his thigh muscle or something like that in his knee.
Ew.
But it wasn't as, I know it was a season injury, but I know it wasn't that as bad as compared to these other guys. Let me actually look it up real quick. But then when I think about Von Miller, because of that defense is, you could still.
Oh, he tore his ACL.
What was it? Jesus.
Yeah, his ACL.
ACL's all around. So Sutton ACL.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way,
ACL.
Yeah, ACL. So
I think Von Miller had the nastiest one though. His was Achilles
tendon.
Yeah.
So, but again, both those guys you can get them in the later draft and in later rounds. So even with Nick Bosa as well. I mean, I don't think Nick Bosa should even be considered towards the end of the back end of the draft, but I think he should be towards the middle. After you draft probably your receivers and running backs and you're set there, why not go as a defensive line? After you get your linebacker, definitely get your 2 linebackers before you actually go in your D line. Unless they're dual eligibility, I think Bosa is actually Joey Bosa's linebacker D line. Nick, however, is just D line.
No, I think Joey's just
No, Joey is 100 because you trust me, man. You shook up our league last week.
I thought he was just a lineman.
No, he's linebacker.
He was a lineman / linebacker. I probably would have kept him.
He is the linebacker / DL. No, this is why we were so surprised when you cut him. But we'll talk about that.
It just says defensive line, Chargers. That's all it says.
Click on it. Joey Bosa is on Sleeper.
Oh, shit.
Is linebacker right there. Defensive line eligibility. He is not like his brother. Yeah, there you go. All right, now you're pissed.
All right. I guess I'll redraft him. It's all good.
That's the end of our show. As Mark gets pissed off of dropping Joey Bosa. But look, next week we're doing our mock draft.
Garcia. James says dibs.
Nick Bosa is just DL. So, but next week we're doing our mock draft on Wednesday. I think we're going to start around 6 p.m. I think we're also going to do the first top big 3 linebackers We might do that before our mock draft, or maybe whenever Mark is free, because his job sucks. So,
kind of depending on you sooner than later. So,
right. So, anyways, that's it. Do you have anything else to say about these guys? Besides, did you kind of agree with these 6 guys, risk wise?
Risk wise, yeah, I think Sutton, Prescott are at the top of being the least risky, and I think Barkley and Burrow are definitely at the bottom.
Right. So
because it's not just their injuries they're coming back from, but it's also the way their teams are constructing their rosters,
right? So
and developing their rosters. That I'm
yeah,
well, no.
I agree. So, anyways, keep an eye out if you're doing IDP drafts for Von Miller and Nick Bosa. They should be coming back, but you can probably get them in the Von Miller in your later draft. So, anyways, that's our show. Good evening, good night, good morning, wherever the hell you're at. I will see you guys next week for our mock draft. Joining us with the Get Right Fantasy crew. Some of those guys are actually joining in. I think Anthony is also going to be on the show as well. So, and our producer Tank is also going to be there too. So that should be fun and we'll see you then. Later.
Getting hype when I aim up. Elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate.